Creativity is the highest ideal that you could strive for. You need to take inspiration from the outside world while simultaneously shutting out. You'll be more creative. And the people that are creative, consuming other voices, right? That is the paradigm of a consumer. Now you can do this in any way that you want, but for me, creativity is the highest ideal that you could strive for. It connects you to forces far greater than yourself. If you're watching this, that means you're looking for more of that special substance. Here's what I'll tell you. Getting it is kind of a paradox. You need to take inspiration from the outside world while simultaneously shutting out the voices outside of yourself so that you can listen internally. And this is a challenging pendulum to balance if your view of the world remains that of a consumer. If it shifts to a creator, an artist, an entrepreneur, you start seeing the world differently, and that kind of lets you access a higher realm of creativity. I characterize this as the key paradigm shift that you need to make if you want to go to the next level in whatever it is that you're doing. You have to shift from the mindset of a consumer to that of a creator. That's how you make your best work. That's how you see the world in the way that you need to see it if you want to create something incredible. And it's important because when you make that shift, you start to connect with that creative force. You can call it whatever you want, God, Allah, Adonai, that force that sustains the universe. You're connecting with that when you tap into your creative power. And so this is what the video is about, making that paradigm shift from consumer to creator. And so back to what I call the paradox of noise. I'm going to separate this into three distinct levels. The first one being that you need to shut out all input from the outside world. You can't have voices telling you what to do, because if that is the case, you will be constantly pulled in a million different directions. That is the paradigm of consumer. They're always listening to other people's opinions. They're always watching other things, consuming other voices, right? That is the paradigm of a consumer. So this first step is characterized by quieting the voices around you. Now you can do this in any way that you want, but for me, in my life, the way that I was able to actually implement this was either by setting limitations for the time that I would spend on social media or on YouTube or whatever it is. Like I would limit the amount of input that I let in my brain. You know whether or not you're constantly blown up with this news headline and that news headline. If that is the case, limit it. Like do what you have to do. Delete the apps or set limits on them so that you're not constantly getting distracted and bombarded by all this information. And really what this step is kind of characterized as is a return to your own originality. When you stop taking the voices from outside of yourself, that kind of lets you go on to the next phase, which is connecting internally. And this is what I would really characterize as phase 2 of kind of this paradigm shift from consumer to creator, is connecting to your unique nature. That can only really happen after you stop taking the millions of voices and letting them inside, right? You shut out the outside voices and you focus internally. Like, what am I saying? What am I feeling? The best way to do this is to meditate, sit there in silence and listen to your own intuition. Like, what are you saying to do? What are your opinions on things? Like the more you can connect with that unique, original nature, the more creative you'll be. It's kind of obvious, right? Like the more unique you are, the more original you are, the more you connect to your unique self and stop taking the opinions and voices of others and making them yours, the more creative you will be. That's how you develop your own creative taste, right? Is by connecting to your own unique self. To me, this is a fairly obvious step. Again, I'm just trying to break this down as simple as possible. Consumer to creator, stop consuming, start creating sounds simple. Like, what's the process here? Well, first you gotta, again, shut out the outside noise. Second, focus internally. And then phase 3 would be like taking what you found inside of yourself and looking for a little bit of inspiration from others who took something unique from themselves, right? Like the problem with trying to do this in the beginning is that because you have so many voices and opinions, you can't really discern which ones are the original and unique ones. When everyone's parroting the same thing and you're listening to that, it's very hard to discern like the original and unique voice. But again, you shut those things out. You focus inside, and then you start to deliberately choose who you're going to take your inspiration from. The biggest thing here is like you want to be taking inspiration from people who have connected to their own unique nature. Because the more you get around people that are connected to themselves, again, it kind of helps you connect to yourself in a way. I think this entire process can be very summarized by just not listening to other people and listening to yourself. But obviously part of that is like getting around people that only listen to themselves, because that helps you only listen to yourself, right? Like that would be how you become more creative. You become more creative by being original and unique. Being original and unique means connecting to yourself. And again, this is where that paradox comes in, where to become original and unique and connect to yourself, you almost need to be around other people that are original and unique and connected to themselves. So it's again like this pendulum that you have to balance of taking inspiration from others and shutting out the outside world, right? Because if you're taking all your inspiration from the outside world and you're not getting anything from yourself, then you're not being original and unique. But if you're only focusing on shutting out the outside world, you're not going to have any ideal of what it looks like to focus on yourself. I don't know if I'm making any sense in this video, but the idea that I'm trying to convey is that if you can get around people that are creative, you'll be more creative. And the people that are creative are original and connected to their unique self. And so that's kind of why I'm starting a community online that I want to build this around, this philosophy of creativity that I'm developing and going to be building out over the next couple of years. Like, I want to build a community of people that are around this ideology of creating their best work, giving their soul to create something amazing, and then taking inspiration from other people that are on that same path, right? Like, I think that kind of 3-step process is what I'm all about. Like, I want to stop being a consumer and start being a creator. And then I want to maximize my creative energy and effort by giving my soul to create a masterpiece. And then I want to connect with other people that are doing that same thing, because I just think that will help me create better work. And so if you're interested in something like this, I'm going to leave a link in the description to a community that I'm starting around this creative philosophy that I'm developing here on this channel. And again, if it interests you at all, please consider joining. And yeah, thank you for listening to my thoughts, as scrambled up as they might have been in this video. I hope there was something that you could take away, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you.